recognizing it, and but we can't recognize it through other deities as far as giving them the power. When their power is in the book of the Lord says, had it, which is the same black dot. He said, do not worship me, I am the worshiper. The others will be known in the physical realm, I never. So you're never going to see me as long as the physical realm exists. So therefore, become me, basically, in so many words. The only link you have is not an entity on the outside. It is, they say, the gods of men are fools. It is the inside.
The
and that's
inside
what
entity. The creator is in you. He put his self, as far as the creator's DNA, which you guys still ain't figured out, they junk DNA. He stuck some of it, well, from what older books say, ridiculously amount of it. And you, the spirit, you are a spirit. He stuck his spirit and you. So how do you get close to the creator? Well, if he put DNA in you, and he put the spirit in you, chosen ones, you are supposed to become one with the creator. Become one with the creator. One with the source. The creator is your power. Worship the creator, the source, the force.
Ordained us so that a millennium blackness is in so many words. It's what I've been talking about all the time now, but it's also honing in to say at this particular time, I don't think the major events that everybody's looking for, that the white boy God is looking for, because he'll always invent some major events. Those major events are already here. You see what I'm saying? And we can't just be waiting for black people to rise, because that's another shit too, especially in New York. Black people on the rise. Black people ain't on shit. But getting their ass whipped and going to jail and whatever damn thing. We are on the rise. The conscious community and the ones that we talk about always think that this thing is growing, because we are wrapped into a conscious community, but all you gotta do is look at your goddamn family number and know that's some bullshit. You understand what I'm saying? Your close friends and know that them niggas ain't as dead as hell, and know that we're only talking about us. So this is the only people we have to deal with right now. It has nothing to do with the outside, and now at this particular time it don't have nothing to do with time. It has something to do with churning up something and making a bomb now. And also too, it has something to do with it because in actuality I'm like him. Last month or so I'm like, look man, what's the damn point? What's the point in living? I mean, yeah, you can make plans and you can psych yourself out and look forward to some stuff, but you're only looking forward to all the stuff you done had before. But I'm saying ultimately, outside of this knowledge and stuff, what's the doggone point? So that itself, when it gets to that particular level, it is time. The time is actually now. And I'll tell you how much the time is actually now. By no means that I want to go and by no means that last week I did a lecture in Harlem, and I knew that I was going to start back on the circuit in February, but I dreaded getting it. I said, with any luck, hopefully, I don't have to do this because this shit will all be over. So the time that we're talking about is we're talking about now. We're not going to wait on black people to get no more consciousness, because that ain't happening. Black people ain't going to do shit. You understand what I'm saying? And we even wonder why, we even have to question why we even have to even talk about the concept of race. Not talking about white people, don't get me wrong now. You ain't never got to hear me go crazy on that shit.
Gathering is called the harvest of souls, the elect and the great crowd. To understand the harvest, we need to look back at the Old Testament, how a harvest was performed in ancient Israel. Let's start by reading Leviticus 23:10. Speak unto the children of Israel, and say unto them, when ye be come into the land which I give unto you, and I shall reap the harvest thereof, then ye shall bring a sheaf of the first fruits of your harvest unto the priest. So what is it saying? Well, before a harvest, fruits or barley harvest must be given to the priest to begin with. Do you understand its symbolic meaning? Well, the first fruits is the elect.
Water seeps its own level. You understand what I'm saying? Water seeps its own level. I don't even think that should even be the focus. I don't think that should be the focus, because ultimately, in actuality, I know me. Other than somebody initially teaching me something, which is already done to get me on the path, it's pretty much up to me, because we're talking about the only person that has a path to your soul is yourself. So the whole notion that you got to work with somebody else is not necessarily the end all and be all in the first place. You see what I'm saying? So my point here is, it doesn't really matter if you can't find nobody. It just only matters if you already there. I mean, if you already gonna do it for yourself, then it's futile to even think about whether you got a bunch of front niggas and all that kind of thing here, because ultimately you're gonna only have to do it by yourself anyway. Right. So I'm just saying. So my point is you just answered your question. You just answered your question. No, you know that. Because ultimately, if it was that way, I mean, you would be in some type of religion or somewhere. But because you're in the metaphysics and it's talking about inwardly, then ultimately it's going to have to be you. You see what I'm saying? It's the same thing. They even showed you now. Hell, you saw the movie Matrix. He had an excellent teacher, Morpheus and all them, and hell, they pumped all that knowledge in his damn head overnight with them damn 10 hours straight. He's still going, and he had everything, but he said, listen, I can take you to the door, but you're going to have to walk the door. So ultimately, why even bullshit around, why even trying to get some organization, when ultimately, you're going to have to walk the path. Because the simple fact that we know this right now, we can start an organization right now, and the goals and the objectives up in here would be fine. Everybody up in here would be right. But over the course of the damn weeks, you understand what I'm saying? We'll have 400 Indian chiefs. You see what I'm saying? One or two Indians following, or we'll have all Indians or one Indian chief. You see what I'm saying? Ultimately, it's going to have to be up to the individual. Up to the individual. That's why I was very clear in my career of doing this to not let nobody follow me. You see what I'm saying? So my point is just look at me. I'm not depending on no other motherfuckers to give me no damn knowledge. God knows I got enough of it. I'm in here lecturing to you. And I'm saying I deal with people every day, and I don't shut myself off from the people. Because I don't shut myself off from the people. But my point is, on the other hand too, I deal with them every day, but I understand that it's going to be that way. Plus, you must understand this here too. You must understand the conditions that we're working from. We're working from a prison cell. If you're working from the maximum security prison, then you automatically know that it don't supposed to be a utopia. And I'm saying in one hand, and I'm saying what I'm trying to say is on the other hand, for you even dwelling on that and all, I think that's a bridge you got to get across. Get over.
I'm not dwelling on it. I'm saying I agree with you saying. I hear people say that we got to go to a priest and everything. I don't go to priest.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah,
I agree with you.
I get where you coming from, because I get where you coming from.
Because I don't have to go no priest or no.
I get where you're coming from. I see what you're doing. You making a response based on age-old fact in most cities now. Age-old fact in most cities now. And every 5 minutes there's somebody new popping up. Now they got one guy, he's down in Atlanta and he's doing whole foods, live foods. And that's all well based on the diet thing and all. But now I've seen a man 60. And his whole concept of everything that he's thinking about now is based on this goddamn nigga he just met. Everything, his whole world is based around this nigga when selling the live, doing the whole foods and the live foods, and you gotta get this in, you gotta do all this here and all. and the live foods and sister, it's imperative that you give me sex so you can be spiritually opened up. And all that crazy shit, you know, we get it every 5 fucking damn years or some asshole out here exploiting people. But yet this guy's in his 60s. And he's gone to this guy, and his whole concept is centered around this guy. And before that, he told me he was in the Nation of Islam. He told me he was in several groups over the last 40 years that he was a part of. And I'm quite sure when he was in those groups, his whole identity was around that person. You see what I'm saying? But dealing with that and all, first of all, the only master there is, when you just look at the concept, it's an oxymoron to go to a master when the word itself means that you have to master self. So he might very well be his own master or claiming to be, but he can't be your master because he does not have access to master your self. Because we don't know what ulterior motives is. It's just like my sister-in-law was all down with it. She would talk all this stuff. She would talk about all the overtime niggas and everything else. You know what I'm saying? Night and day, her husband would argue Christians down. But when push come to shove, her ass went back and joined that church. You see what I'm saying? So ultimately, you don't know what is in somebody's mind. We know that right now. You live with a person for 40 years, husband and wife, and wake up and don't even know the nigga. Shit, you don't even know the woman. You know what I'm saying? You never knew that they was thinking that. So ultimately, you don't know somebody's mind, so therefore the only person that can be mastered is self. Is self. And yes, each city, but then again, on the other hand, that's a given. Because each major city and country town gonna have somebody that everybody is focusing around and saying, this is the one. He is the one. She's the one. But I thought that the majority of these lectures focused on people who was trying to understand in actuality that they are the one, or you should be. You understand what I'm saying? So even that, when you even come to that level, that's even feud out about all these niggas. Because it's not just Detroit. It's New York. It's Atlanta. You see what I'm saying? It's Chicago. When I went to Chicago, hell, they had everybody up in the lecture had some master. And the guy said, look, Chicago will be like any other place you ever went to. He said, everybody up in here is following some damn body. You see what I'm saying? Following somebody. You see? So, yeah, that's a given. But the only master, there's no such thing as no guru master. How the hell we gonna have a guru over in India and they got niggas on the street in Bangladesh and shit begging for damn, not quarters, begging for damn bicycle spokes or something. Eating rats. What's that, sister?
Boy Pablo Gray, we are back with another fucking video. From this video, I'm gonna touch on a little something new, man. I'm gonna do these anime comparisons, especially when it has to do with spirituality or even pertaining to black people. So yeah, man. So today we're gonna start with the classic DBZ, right? And I want to say shout out to my boy Astro Kai, man, because if it wasn't for you, I wouldn't have got the idea to do this shit. So I want to say shout out to you. I'm gonna be using your content. Anyone watching this, make sure y'all go follow Astro.Kai, Kai. You should know how to spell Astro. If not, go look it up. Astro ends with the L. Anyway, so yeah, man, the first DBZ clip I'm gonna speak on has to do with the hair. So let's take a look at this. But yeah, it's gonna pop up on this one.
That different, Vegeta? Why is it your hair all shaggy too?
Pure Saiyan's hair does not get shaggy. It maintains the same shape from the day that he is born.
What do you know?
One more time.
Is that different, Vegeta? Why isn't your hair all shaggy too?
Pure Saiyan's hair does not get shaggy.
Okay. Alright, so from that clip, you can see it's Vegeta. Bulma was asking why his son's hair isn't as shaggy as his. Well, he said because a pure Saiyan, hair doesn't change shape. It maintains the same shape as when they're born. The similarity between that is, as you can tell, black people, our hair defies gravity. Unless we lock it or plait it, braid it. Other than that, the shit defies gravity. The shit will go straight the fuck up. It's stiff. It won't move. It doesn't do like other hair. That's symbolic in a way, and that leads me on to some other shit. So you know I took notes. Right, actually, before I get into the notes, let's pull up the second video. Shout out to Astro Kai. It'll be up in a second. As you can see in the clip, it says Frieza commits a mass genocide to the Saiyan race to keep them from going Super Saiyan. I think that's symbolic to us unlocking DNA. Alright, so if you don't understand, in the anime, Frieza, who was a part of this elite alien race who kept control over a group that had larger quantity of people called the Saiyans, right? Had control over these people, and the Saiyans were like mercenaries. They did all the hard work, while Frieza's people, they sat back and reaped the benefits. Frieza heard that there's a prophecy where a Super Saiyan comes every now and then, and he's gonna lead the people and stop the bad forces. He was so scared, so he wiped out the entire planet just to stop this from happening. Does that shit sound familiar to you? Alright, so we're gonna touch on that. So with my notes, one thing I definitely noticed when it comes to similarity, and for my black people, don't get mad, but as you can see, Saiyans are symbolic to a monkey, right? We get called monkeys. Shit's crazy, right? It's cool. If you don't know the Chinese story behind Son Goku, it's the monkey god, if I'm not mistaken. He had all types of, Monkey King, I believe, had all types of magical abilities, but it wasn't a bad symbol, so I'm gonna put it like that. But one thing about the Saiyans is they look at the moon. Let's just say you can moon gaze, that's a thing, but we sun gaze, so you get that little polarity, and when they stare at the moon long enough, it supercharges them, they level up, right? And them being destroyed and then being spread around the universe is symbolic to the declassification of black people, being dispersed from their land, if not already being there for the Aboriginal Americans, and then being placed and the race being watered down. But it's something about Dragon Ball Z, just like here, where in America they considered if you had any drop of black blood in you, you was considered black. It's the same thing with the same blood. Even with Gohan and his daughter, I believe, he had with Fidel in what is it, Dragon Ball GT. She had Saiyan abilities, and Gohan was a half Saiyan, and his chick was a full human. So she still had enough blood in her to unlock Saiyan abilities, right? So that's one thing. Also another thing, so when they get an understanding of how powerful they truly are, they level up. So let's understand this. Super Saiyan 1, that's a fluke. Let's just put it like that. That's a fluke. But when Goku understood what Kaioken was, he was able to increase it, right? Up until his friend got killed, Krillin, by Frieza, and then he turned Super Saiyan. But once he knew how to control Super Saiyan and he understood himself, he was able to unlock Super Saiyan 2. And then once he understood that, he kept that a secret. He kept the next level a secret. He went Super Saiyan 3. And he
world to know about Ascension. I would want the world to know about Ascension. I would want the world to know that we are very, very close. And all the people on the inside know this. This is the key of disclosure. We are very close to some sort of energetic shift that the sun's going to do. There have already been multiple experiments, I've heard this from several insiders, in which they take ordinary folks and they put them into a room and they zap them with the energy that our sun is going to give off when we go through this change. They become very blissed out. They start to get really telepathic. They can move things with their mind. Everybody kind of goes into a psychedelic trip. Our government knows that this is going to happen, where there's no veil left, where we are wide open to reality.
That Beetlejuice devoured its closest stellar neighbor, which was significantly inferior to it in size. In the world of space, Beetlejuice is clearly not a herbivore. And this planetary predator never ceases to amaze to this day. Just recently, scientists recorded the star's new trick. Beetlejuice started winking at us. Then the star began to hide from our eyes behind some dust. And this can mean only one thing. There's very little time left before the death of the Titan. Stars die in two ways. Either they fade away, or they generate a powerful explosion. And Beetlejuice is preparing for the latter. Powerful explosion. And Beetlejuice is preparing for the latter. It can happen at any time, but on the astronomical scale, Beetlejuice will explode in the next 100,000 years, or in 2022.
Yo, fam. What fam? Yeah, you don't know the bro for there, you know. Yeah. So much love. But yo, family, you know, say them try to shut me down. I'm gonna try to stop the shine of the morning star. And what am I to start? Shut me down, but me went supernova. Try shut me down, but me went supernova. Try shut me down, but me went supernova. Try shut me down, but me went supernova.